evening. Today I thought we'd do a little foam roller class here about opening up the upper back and relieving tension in our neck, and oftentimes relieving tension then in the low back as well. So the foam roller is a great tool for this. So I'm going to take the foam roller, lay it long ways along my mat, and then you're going to sit on the very, very front edge of your roller. So when you come down, you're going to sit very front edge, no style points to get there, right? And then we're just going to come back onto our roller again, no style points to get there. So you're just going to come down until you feel somewhat centered-ish. There we go. And arms nice and long at your sides. And then I just want you to notice the roller should feel like it's coming right down the center of your spine. So you have kind of little nubbies on your spinal bones called your spinous process, and they kind of give you a good cue. Are you kind of bone by bone? So you can use those as your cue. You can also feel like you're evenly weighted, not swaying off one side too much or the other. And I like to say feet about hip distance apart. You don't want them too narrow or too wide, so we got a nice base of support. And oftentimes just being here, allowing the shoulders to drift and opening up that chest and pec can be really good for those of us that are over a computer a lot of the day, driving, so over even working forward like in a dentist's office or a massage therapist. So once you're here, I want you to just check in with your spine. You should have just a nice gentle low back curve off the mat. Your neck should be gently curved off the mat, and your tailbone and upper back should be gently on that roller. So here we go. We're gonna just check our our balance and our core muscles here. So I'm gonna have you bring one leg to tabletop, and when you do that, that little breath of air between your back and the roller should maintain itself. So you shouldn't tuck under to get there and create tension in the neck and the low back, but just nice, gentle, and then back. Sometimes I like to think about stepping into cold water, so inhale, that creates that little bit of transverse abdominis muscle work. And we'll go maybe one more each way, just starting to fire up those abs, but most definitely still working that sense of stretch. And then hold the feet. We're going to bring one hand up and then the other. I like the palms to face into each other. And then we're going to take one arm overhead and bring it back, and then the other. And the goal is to hit the floor. But when you do that, I don't want you to lose your ribs. So your ribs should be heavy in the roller, and that reach of your arm means you gotta kind of engage your core not to lose that, if that makes sense, hopefully. And same on the other side. So the ribs don't pop up to find the floor, but rather keep them connected and reach and find a sense of stretch and a little bit of work there. And you could do 3 or 4 of those, and then if it's all going well, we can try both. Same idea, keep those ribs still, reach from the arms, big shoulder stretch there, and come back up, at least for me. Especially if I really think about keeping the ribs still. And same, you could do 3, 4, even 6 of these. You want to inhale the arms back and exhale them up. And then we're going to kind of put those two things together. So I'm going to leave my left hand up, my right hand's going to go to the floor, my right leg to tabletop. Now I'm going to reach arm and leg away and bring it back. So this becomes a little cross patterning, so it's a little bit of oblique work. And same, you could do 4 to 6 of these, keeping everything still but the reach of the arm and the leg. And then the foot comes down, the hand goes down, then we do the other side, right? And we find that stillness, and then we reach arm and leg away, and bring it back, and arm and leg away, and then bring it back, and maybe 2. I'm going to do one more here, but if you'd like to do 6s, feel free to continue. And then one leg down, and then the other. And then the last one kind of in this set that you can do is one leg tabletop, and then the other leg. And that really creates ab and stability. And then you could either march, but the same thing now is true that we talked about the ribs with the pelvis. As the leg goes down, those pelvic bones stay still. They tend to want to be pulled and the low back wants to arc. So really pay attention to staying neutral as possible here. And same, like 3 to 4. So as the leg goes down, you're drawing back into those low abs. And I'll go one more on this side. And then you can release one foot and then the other. And then you can just give me a couple breaths here. Just let the shoulders be heavy. Close your eyes maybe. Take a nice big inhale. Think of lateral breath, breathing out into the ribs. And then exhale, let those ribs get nice and heavy. How about one more like that? Wide lateral breath. And exhale down and into the roller. And then I'm just going to gently drop off to the right. You can roll either direction. And then once you're off that roller, we're just going to turn the roller to short ways, so horizontally across the mat. And this is where we really start to work into opening up the neck and that upper back. Knees bent, feet flat. The roller is right at the base of my scapula, so the tips of my shoulder blades. So kind of like, if you had to think of it in the front, sort of mid-rib, but on my back. Hands behind that head and neck. And then from here, I'm just gonna inhale and arc back. So nice big inhale. Now here the ribs can open, so you can flare the ribs, let the head be heavy, but keep your fingers interlaced into your head or your neck. And then chin to chest. And then when we come up, we're gonna come up from our abs. So there's a little nice ab work in there. Pretty gentle, but still effective. And again, you're gonna stretch back. Think of your elbows widening. Let your head be heavy in your hands. But then definitely chin to chest and come up to the ceiling, not forward, but upward. And we'll do the same. You could do 4, 6, even 8 of these. So you could double this if you'd like. I'm just gonna do one more here. It's one of those hurt so good kind of deals. And then hold about halfway up. And I'm gonna have you come up into bridge. So you're gonna lift the hips up. We're gonna go for a little walk. So I might walk myself out of the screen a little bit, but bear with me. So we're gonna walk forward, and that roller is gonna come just to the tops of my shoulder blades. And then I'm gonna walk backwards, and you don't wanna take it any lower than your lowest rib because your kidneys are back there, and if you go too low, it's not gonna feel great. And then you're gonna walk forward. And what this does is it massages the muscles of the spine. So the spinalis group, the semispinalis, the multifidus, maybe not so much because he's lower. Oh, it can feel really good. And same, it can be that hurt so good sensation. You can find a spot, maybe that's particularly tight, and just go a little short into that spot and breathe into it if you'd like. And then go for one more full all the way to shoulders, all the way to the base of the ribs. And then come back just to the tips of the shoulder blades again. Line up those feet. And we're going to drop our head back at the same time our hips go down. So the hips go down and the head goes back. And there's this really nice, like kind of glorious stretch that happens in there. And then that chin gently, the chest curl up. Grab a leg and come all the way up. And then we're going to do just one more here. And we're going to use the back muscles now, activate them. And oftentimes strengthening the muscle of the back can actually relieve back pain and neck pain. So the shoulders can work the way they're supposed to. So you're going to lay on your stomach. You're going to bring the forearms over the roller and let your head rest, thumbs to the sky. You're not on your elbow joint, you're just forward of it. Nice long legs behind you. You could bring inner thighs to touch, but if you have low back pain, you could go a little wider. And from here, you're going to press down to rise up. And you use those upper back muscles. And then articulate down. And as you do these, really try and come through piece by piece, right? So it's about the upper back and the mid back. And lastly, the low back. And then release. And my arms are long here. I'm not pulling from my elbows. We could add that though. So give me one more with long arms. Go bend to the elbows. And release. And now on this next one, we'll come up and hold it there. So you're going to use the arms to help you find that sense of stretch. And just a little glide. The elbows come back. And you're trying to stay lifted in your chest in this gentle extension the whole time. One more good one here. Hold those arms back long and release. You can glide that guy away from you a little bit. Hands underneath shoulders. We're going to come up. And just to counteract all of that, into a little child's pose. So nice wide knees, narrow up those heels. Your arms could go over the roller or you could not use it at all and let your head drop. And think about sinking your tailbone down to your heels in between your legs. And then you can come up, and hopefully that should give those muscles of the back not only a stretch, but also strengthen them, which in turn should help you relieve a little tension in the neck because the back muscles are doing their work. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day.